Hello folks, and welcome to Understanding Medicare and its Insurance Options. Brought to you by Medigap Select of Texas. Please take note to our contact information listed below. This way you can reach out to us with any questions or concerns you may have at the end of this presentation. Our toll-free number is 1-866-849-5465. You can visit us on the web at www.texasmedigapselect.com or shoot us an email at info@texasmedigapselect.com. Now, before we get started, I'd like to tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do. We are a Texas-based insurance agency, actually located here in Georgetown. We consider ourselves to be experienced. We've been helping individuals understand their health and life insurance options since 2002. We are an independent agency. This allows us to show options and rates from multiple insurance carriers that do business here in the state, as well as provide unbiased information. We really take pride in helping individuals find the right insurance to meet their specific situation, as well as budget. And all of our services are no charge to you. Free consultative services, no obligation quotes, never an obligation to purchase coverage directly through us, and access to an agent pretty much all times. With technology now, even emails can reach us 24/7. But the main reason most people are here is that they are either new to Medicare, turning 65, and confused about its insurance options. First, I'd like to say these two publications are full of outstanding information published by CMS, or the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. You have the Medicare and You Buyer's Guide, as well as a guide to health insurance for people with Medicare. If you do not actually have a copy of these publications, you can download them on our website at www.texasmedigapselect.com. Under the tab Medicare 101, you will find an option for Medicare guides, and you will find not just these two publications, but some other publications from Medicare that could be helpful in understanding or answering different questions you may have. But if you're like most individuals trying to understand all this information alone, even a good publication can help confuse. Information starts to overlap. This is the main reason why I wanted to bring my presentation to individuals via the internet to hopefully clear up and identify how Medicare and its insurance options work. This way, hopefully, cobwebs get cleared, questions get answered, and can get you on the right path to making an informed decision to find the coverage that's going to meet your specific needs. So where to begin? Well, when dealing with Medicare, you actually only have two main options to obtain your insurance. And this is if you don't have a retirement or an employer-sponsored group plan. Quick note here, if you are considering to go the individual route and you have the employer or the group plan still in place and that can stay, feel free to continue watching this presentation so you do know what options that you do have. But before making any decisions, please do reach out to us. Talk to an agent so you understand the importance of the coverage that you currently have or can continue with compared to the individual market. Now, if you are like most individuals to where at age 65 you have to go out and find some type of Medicare insurance, again, the two options that you'll be dealing with is either staying with original Medicare or looking at what is known as a Medicare Advantage plan. These are, again, really your only two options, and we'll go into more detail for both as this presentation goes along. Again, once you decide which route to get your coverage, either through an original Medicare plan or a Medicare Advantage plan, you'll need to know the ins and outs, the positives and the negatives to each, this way that you find the right coverage for exactly what you want it to do. And one portion that you'll note we'll talk about more that you'll more than likely either need to get or will already be built in will be prescription drug coverage. This is also known as Medicare Part D. I can tell you that if you go with original Medicare, you will need to find a standalone Part D plan to help pick up your outpatient prescription drug coverage. If you go the Medicare Advantage route, you need to note if the plan already has a Part D prescription coverage built into it, if the plan allows you the option to either pick its prescription drug plan or choose your own, or just making sure that you don't pick a Medicare Advantage plan that doesn't have any prescription drug coverage thinking that you might. Now again, if you stay with the original Medicare side of things, strongly suggested to get a Medigap, or also known as a Medicare supplement insurance policy, which we'll talk more about. This will help fill in the gaps left by original Medicare. But if you go the Medicare Advantage route, you do not need and actually cannot sign up for a Medicare, or I'm sorry, for a Medigap policy. It doesn't work that way, and you'll understand, I believe, a little bit more as the presentation goes on. But let's go ahead and start with original Medicare, because that's what you're going to get. If you haven't got it already, you should be receiving a red, white, and blue Medicare card in the mail. If you are concerned that your 65th birthday is coming up and you haven't seen one yet, you might reach out to your local Social Security Administration office, make sure that you are signed up and that information is coming to you. With original Medicare, you have two parts. Part A is your hospitalization insurance, and this helps pay for inpatient hospital stays, skilled nursing, home health care, hospice, other related services when dealing with admittance, or inpatient is a good way. Now, usually Part A is going to come to you at no additional cost, meaning that you're not going to be charged the monthly premium for this if you've paid taxes into. Rule of thumb, if you pay taxes for 10 years into Medicare, then you're going to get your hospitalization insurance at no additional cost. Part B, on the other hand, is your medical insurance, also known outpatient coverage, any medically necessary doctor's visit services, lab work, outpatient services, outpatient surgery, anything not admitted in for. With Medicare Part B, you are going to pay a premium for 2012. You will have a minimum premium of $99.90. There is a chance that premium could be higher depending upon your income level, and if you're unsure about that, you can always contact us and we'll explain where the breaks actually happen with the higher premiums for Medicare Part B. But ultimately, with original Medicare Part A and B that you will be receiving, you have insurance. You could actually stop right there, and as long as you understood your risks and you were comfortable with it, which most people aren't, hence why they look for insurance to help cover, you wouldn't have to get anything else. It's not suggested, but is an option. To help explain a little bit of the risk, here's a good chart. Also shows inflation throughout the year of different deductibles and out-of-pocket risks that you could be subject to if, and I got to stress this, if you only had original Medicare, nothing else. Your Part A hospitalization deductible. This is not what most people are used to when dealing with deductibles. It's not a calendar year deductible. It's actually what is known as a per occurrence deductible. Per benefit period, Medicare calls it benefit period of being a 60-day window for the occurrence that you say were admitted into the hospital. And you can see in 2012 the deductible is $1,156. Now, if admitted into the hospital, that should be your only risk unless you're in the hospital for more than 60 days. That's that benefit period, and as you can see, you have a co-insurance. If you're in the hospital for days 61 through 90, it's $289 a day. If you go past 90 days still in the hospital, not only does your daily co-insurance payment go up to $578 a day for days 91 through 150, but these are also considered your lifetime reserve days, and you only have 60 of them. If for some reason You've used up all your lifetime reserve days, you're in the hospital more than allowed, all costs are yours. Medicare stops per that benefit period. Same with skilled nursing care. Days 1 through 20, Medicare is going to pick up their approved cost. Days 21 through 100, you're going to pay $144.50 per day in 2012. After 100 days, all costs are yours. There's other scenarios like hospice coinsurance, first 3 pints of blood, but ultimately that is the risk that you're looking at for just your Part A or your hospitalization coverage when dealing with only having original Medicare. Part B, in my opinion, is a little bit easier to explain, but a little bit more of a risk. And what I mean by that is you can see that the Part B, or remember that your outpatient or medical services, is only $140, and this is annually, so in a calendar year for 2012. In 2011, it was actually $162 and actually dropped $22. But once this deductible's been met, Medicare will then pay 80% of its approved charges, leaving you with 20%, and if there's any excess charges, which we'll talk about. The reason I believe this is more of a risk is just due to medical technology, as well as a lot more services can be completed now outpatient. And with original Medicare, you do not have a maximum out-of-pocket for a calendar year. In the insurance industry, we call this a stop loss, a maximum out-of-pocket. Think of it as a cap of once you spend a certain amount, then the insurance kicks in at 100%. That doesn't happen with original Medicare. Example would be if you were to have $100,000 worth of outpatient chemo, you could easily pay $20,000, and again, still no cap. So original Medicare is insurance. It will take care of you inpatient and outpatient, but at these risks. So when looking how to fill in the gaps, if you want to stay with original Medicare, this is again one of the 2 options of keeping your insurance. There are what is known as a Medigap policy or a Medicare supplement insurance policy. And you might say, well, what is a Medigap policy? Both the word Medigap policy, also called Medicare supplement insurance, is private insurance that is designed to actually fill in the gaps or supplement your original Medicare, hence the names. Pretty much, Medicare is going to pay what we just talked about, and depending upon your plan, if you go the Medicare supplement route, it's going to fill in the gaps such as the co-payments, the co-insurance, the deductibles. When you have original Medicare and a Medicare supplement, Medicare is going to pay its share, your Medigap policy is going to pick up the rest set to its policy limits. Now, do note that you do have those 2 options, original Medicare or a Medicare Advantage plan when getting your insurance, and a Medigap policy is not a Medicare Advantage plan. Those are original Medicare and a Medicare Advantage plan are your 2 ways to obtain Medicare benefits. When you stay with original Medicare and get a supplement, you are supplementing original Medicare. And Medicare does not pay any cost for you to get a Medigap policy. This is something that you're reaching out and purchasing yourself for extra protection. Very important note, in my opinion, to know about Medicare supplements or Medigap plans is that every Medigap policy must follow federal and state laws designed to protect you, and the policy must be clearly identified as a Medicare supplement insurance. Medigap insurance companies in most states, other than Massachusetts, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, they're labeled a little bit different there, can only sell you a standardized Medigap policy identified by the letters A through N. Each standardized Medigap policy must offer the same basic benefits no matter which insurance company sells it. Cost is usually the only difference between Medigap policies with the same letter sold by different insurance companies. So kind of put this paragraph in a little bit simpler terms here. If you go the Medicare supplement route, you're going to have your choice of plan Medicare supplement plan A all the way to plan N, which we'll look at. When you choose a plan, and you'll note that here in a second, and see why. Plan F is going to be the most popular plan, and what this paragraph is telling you here is no matter if you go through ABC Insurance Company or XYZ Insurance Company, when it comes to the benefits provided by Plan F, those are exactly the same. Cost is going to be different, and there's many factors which we'll get into that will decide the cost for certain insurance companies. But how do you know which Medicare supplement plan is right for you? Well, here's a standardized chart. Looks like a lot of information. It is a lot of information, but actually not hard to read once you understand what your risks are with original Medicare. As you can see, you have your plans A all the way to N, and over on your left hand side in the gray area you'll notice where the title is Medigap Benefits. I actually like to think of this as what original Medicare doesn't pay for. So when it does say Medicare Part A coinsurance and hospital costs up to an additional 365 days after Medicare benefits are used up, they're talking about those daily coinsurance payments of days 61 through 90 or your lifetime reserve days that we talked about. Well, what you see here is there's a check mark under every single plan option available, meaning that if you have a Medigap policy with your original Medicare, you don't have to worry about how many days you're in the hospital or, oh, I need to be discharged because I'm here for the 59th day. That worry goes away. Medicare Part B coinsurance or copayment, the second line item there, that's the 80-20 that we talked about on your outpatient. You can see most plans are going to pick up that 20%. Some plans pick up a percentage of. And so following the check marks on the chart, as well as understanding which line item that they're talking about, can help you decide which plan is right for you. Now there's one line item that I do want to stress here, and it's the second to the bottom, the Medicare Part B excess charge. You can see that Plan F and Plan G are the only two plans that pick this charge up. These are the only two plans that someone like myself, any other agent, or any other insurance company can guarantee you what your out-of-pocket risk would be when dealing with medically necessary or Medicare approved charges. Excess charges are, by law, doctor, hospital can charge up to 15% more than Medicare's approved rates. Doesn't mean that they will. They might have contracts that are higher than Medicare's approved rates, also known as Medicare assignment. But Plan F and G takes that worry away. That's as simple as I can make it, to where those plans, you're purchasing that extra coverage to know that if there are charges a little bit higher than Medicare's approved rates, they are covered. So following the check marks, understanding, okay, hey, I don't want any risk. Which plan would I need? Well, follow the check marks, and as stated earlier, you can see why F is the most popular of all. It has a check mark on everything. I like to call F the convenience factor plan, and the reason for it is you conveniently pay a monthly premium, and that should be it when it comes to Medicare approved charges. So it picks up all the deductibles, it picks up all the coinsurance, the copays that are left over by just having original Medicare. Now, this might be too much coverage for you. It might be too expensive of a plan for you. Do you have to take a Plan F? No. This is insurance that you're purchasing for yourself. If you were to start to stair step down, just start following where the check marks aren't. And so a good option to step down from an F would be to go to a G, to where you see one box is not checked, which is the Medicare Part B deductible. So that's that annual outpatient deductible, and for 2012 it's the $140 deductible. Again, as you stair step down, you can go all the way to, and if you'll look up by the letter F, you see an asterisk, and there's also what is known as a high deductible Plan F. And if you choose this option, you're going to pay Medicare covered cost up to the deductible amount of $2,070 for the year of 2012. A little bit different, again, than what most people are used to. Most people see the word deductible and think, hey, I got to meet it all before my insurance kicks in. Remember, this is a supplement to Medicare, or a Medicare supplement. So Medicare is going to pay its portions, going back to where we looked at how Medicare pays and what your risks are. no matter if you have a supplement or not. Well, if you have a high deductible Plan F and you meet that $1,156 Part A deductible, or the 20% of some charges on outpatient services, that's the portion you're going to pay that would be applied to the $2,070 deductible. If and when that's ever met in a calendar year, you would have the 100% coverage like a regular Plan F. So actually up to about 11 options here that you can look and choose from. And when it comes to getting quotes, just give us a call. We'll help you narrow down and explain a little bit more in detail. But before we leave Medicare supplements, in my opinion, some important notes to know. Medicare supplements, a lot of people like choosing this route with Original Medicare because they're not restricted to only seeing doctors, healthcare providers, or hospitals in a certain network. When dealing with a Medicare supplement and Original Medicare, again, it's a supplement to Medicare. So if your doctor, healthcare provider, or hospital accepts Medicare, it's going to accept your supplement no matter which insurance company you choose. And that's actually nationwide. You can travel with this insurance is a good way to explain it. When's the best time to purchase a Medicare supplement? If you are about to age into Medicare, this is it. This is what is known as the open enrollment period, which is 6 months prior to your Part B effective date. This is the time that you answer no health questions, you pick a company, you pick a plan, and your coverage cannot be denied. As you get into having a Medicare supplement and get into understanding Medicare and having this as your insurance, you're going to get to know a time of year called the annual election period. Right now it sits from October 15th through December 8th. This is the time of year when you change your Medicare Advantage and or your Part D prescription drug program for the following year. Medicare supplements, and most people think they have to wait till this time, can actually be changed year-round. You pay month to month. You're not locked into a contract. This is a supplement insurance to Medicare that you've purchased, and you can change again year-round. Difference being, though, if you look to change 6 months after your Medicare Part B became effective, you will need to answer health questions, and each company underwrites a different way. For more information on that, do give us a call and we'll help explain the different options available there. Now that you know that a Medicare supplement or a Medigap plan is standardized and there's no difference in basic benefits per lettered plan, know your insurance company. If an F's an F, well, who do you get it through? Well, there's different things, not just your cost. Now, cost can play a big factor in this. You don't want to overpay for insurance if you can get it through a good company at a lower rate. But don't just shop price. Understand financial ratings, complaint ratios, how they rate their premiums, attained age, issued age, community rated, and how those work. Trend factors. How long has the company been around? What do their rate increases look like over the past few years? This is stuff that if you're dealing with a good agency or an agent, they're going to be able to answer these questions and explain how these things work. So hopefully get you narrowed down to the company that's going to work the best for you in your area. Also know that using an agent and getting a Medicare supplement through an agent does not cost any more than if you went directly through the company. A lot of you turning 65 are going to get applications in the mail from some pretty highly known insurance companies that we represent too. And no matter if you send in that application yourself or if you were to call on an agent to help explain a little bit more and send in that same application through us, it doesn't cost you anymore. But what you've gained is an agent on your side, somebody that you can call upon, help you out through any changes that might need to occur in the future. And so we strongly suggest reaching out, if not to us, to somebody. So we've talked about Original Medicare, we've talked about Medicare supplements, and staying on that side of your options or that side of the chart, what are you missing? Well, if you remember, it would be your prescription drug plan. With original Medicare, even if you have a Medicare supplement, you do not have coverage for prescription drugs that are not administered in a hospital or medical service setting. Meaning that if you go down to your local pharmacy to buy a maintenance medication, Medicare Parts A and B, as well as your supplement, do not cover this, hence the Medicare Part D prescription drug plan. When dealing with Medicare Part D, it is a law. It is a part of Medicare, and I like to talk to individuals about the law. I tell them it's something good to know, but it's nothing that you have to memorize and know on a daily basis, especially due to how well Medicare is done with its technology, its software, as we'll get into, of finding the right Medicare plan, but is something that is good to know, because no matter if you pick a standalone Part D plan or if you get a Part D plan that's built in through a Medicare Advantage coverage, it has to follow this law. And the law has changed a little bit over the years and might continue to change. But ultimately, if there's changes that are done, all insurance companies have to follow it. In most scenarios, you are going to pay a premium for your Part D plan. And those premiums can range. Right now, I can tell you that there's premiums as low as around $15 a month and can go over $100 a month. Deductibles. That is depending upon which plan you pick. Not all plans have deductibles. Some do, some don't. Some can have as high as a $320 deductible. If you pick a plan with a deductible, you will not get actually any benefit until that deductible is met. The three parts, the initial coverage level, the coverage gap, as well as the catastrophic coverage, think of it as the different steps that you could potentially hit in a calendar year, because that's how Medicare Part D works, from January 1st to December 31st. So if you're aging in the middle of the year, your calendar year just got shortened and we'll start all over again at December 31st for January 1st. Now, the initial coverage level is when you will pay your co-payment or co-insurance for a prescription, and the insurance company will pick up the rest. Really important to note your retail cost of your medication, because there is a number, for lack of better words, called the magical number. You can see here, $2,930. In 2012, if you and the insurance company together, or the retail cost of your medications equals $2,930, that triggers you to move to the coverage gap, or also known as the donut hole. So it's not what you pay, it's not what the insurance company pays, it's combined, or the retail cost of that medication. If and when that hits $2,930, you move then to the coverage gap. Now in the gap, this has changed quite a bit over the past few years. You'll pay around 50% for most brand name drugs, and you'll also pay about 86% this year for generic drugs, up to what is known as true out-of-pocket costs. Now this does not include your premiums, but what this is a total of what you, not the insurance company, what you paid during the initial coverage level, as well as what you paid during the coverage gap, if and when that equals $4,700 in a calendar year, or for 2012, this will trigger you to move to the final stage, which is known as the catastrophic coverage. Here the member pays a greater of $2.60 for generics and $6.50 for brand names, or 5% of the total drug cost. Keep it simple. I like to say insurance companies are going to pay 95%. You'll pay 5% to finish out the rest of the year on your prescription drug plans. Again, this is the law of Part D. This is the actual portion of Medicare. All insurance plans, no matter how you get it, if you get a Part D Medicare prescription drug program, you and the insurance company are going to follow these rules. So, how do you find the right Part D plan? Well, here in Texas for 2012, there's roughly 33 different plans that you can choose from. And they're all about what county you live in. Some have deductibles, some don't. They all have different co-pays or co-insurance amounts. Some cover certain medications. Some don't have certain medications in their formulary. But ultimately, finding the right Part D plan is all about the medications you take. And Medicare has, in my opinion, done an outstanding job of utilizing all the different plans, all their formularies and their cost, and they have a software on their website at www.medicare.gov to where you can plug in your prescriptions that you're currently taking and view all the plans filtered by either the lowest annual cost, the best mail order cost. Great software, tough to get to for most that don't know how to use it, but the good news is we do, and so we can help you understand and find that right prescription drug program, because again, I can't stress enough, it's all about the medications you currently take. If you and your spouse are wanting to do a prescription review through us, we'll be more than happy to, but understand, you two might actually be on two completely separate prescription drug programs. Why? Unless y'all are taking the exact same medications, it just might be better for you to have completely separate Part D plans. Very important, guys. I cannot stress enough. Do not pick a Part D Medicare prescription drug program without knowing how your medications are covered through there. Back to your options. We've talked about the left side of the chart, and I know that's a lot of information. We talked about staying with original Medicare, so you can have that freedom of choice of your doctors, your hospitals, healthcare providers, and filling in the gaps with a Medigap policy or Medicare supplement plan that you have options A through N, and looking at getting a standalone Part D plan. The other option that you'll have is on the other side of the chart, known as Medicare Advantage plans or Medicare health plans. You'll also hear it called Medicare Part C. These are health insurance plan options run by Medicare approved private insurance companies. Medicare Advantage plans are a similar way to get your Medicare covered benefits and services like your Medicare Part A and B or your original Medicare. Again, as stated earlier, you need to know because a lot of Medicare Advantage plans will already have their own Part D plan built into it, and some may even include some extra benefits that you might not find on original Medicare and might have those at an extra cost as well. But when you have a Medicare Advantage plan, I got to stress, you do not lose your Medicare Parts A and B. Some people think that if they go this route, they've lost their original Medicare. I like to tell people you put it on the shelf. Go back to that red, white, and blue Medicare card that if you haven't gotten the mail, it should be on its way. When you have original Medicare and you go see a doctor, that's your primary insurance card. If you have a supplement or a Medigap plan, that's your secondary insurance. Well, if you go the Medicare Advantage route, you're not going to show your red, white, and blue Medicare card. And the reason for that is Medicare is actually subsidizing or paying these private insurance companies and their approved plans to handle all of your billing. So again, you're not going to lose your original Medicare because you're still going to pay, in most cases, your Part B premium when you go to the Medicare Advantage side. But you're going to utilize that private insurance company's insurance, meaning you're going to follow their rules, you're going to pay their co-pays, deductibles, and co-insurance for the plans that you pick. Three most common types of Medicare Advantage plans that you're going to run into, and I do have to stay quite broad on this, on the educational side of things, is because Medicare Advantage plans, a lot like your Part D, and what is available for you is going to be about what county you live in. And there are different plans that might be in one county of Texas and completely different in another county. So understanding what type of Medicare Advantage plan you're looking at, seeing what's available in your county, if this is the route that you're looking to go, can really help you understand what overall you're looking at. One option is going to be a health maintenance organization, also known as an HMO. Now with HMOs, most of the time you're going to find an overall lower out-of-pocket cost, and the main reason, in my opinion, is because you're going to be restricted to only using the plans doctors, healthcare providers, hospitals to obtain the coverage. HMOs are designed to work with a certain group of healthcare providers. If you try to go outside that group, you're not going to have coverage. So this group of doctors that you use will allow the plan, knowing that these doctors have agreed to this type of coverage, to offer lower out-of-pockets, such be co-pays or co-insurance or maybe deductibles. But note that if you do try to use this insurance outside this group that you would have to use, or outside this HMO organization, you do not have coverage except for in the case of emergencies. Okay. HMOs are also plans that you really need to find out. Do you have to get referrals? In most cases you will, to see a specialist, and so they're going to keep you inside that network, inside that HMO, hence the reason for referrals. Good plans, low cost, just very restricted on doctors, healthcare providers, and hospitals that you may use. Might be a little too strict for you, so another option could be a preferred provider organization, also known as a PPO. Here in Texas, most people are very familiar with how PPOs work due to the major medical side. No matter private insurance or group insurance that you might have had through an employer, but a PPO is really where you choose from a list of doctors, and most people understand that, hey, if I go to a doctor in network, I'm going to get that lower copay, I'm going to get that lower deductible co-insurance, but if I go to a doctor outside of their network, I'm going to have to pay what is known as an out-of-network charge. With Medicare Advantage, it works the same way with most plans. If this is a true PPO you're looking at, you're going to have lower out-of-pockets in network, higher out-of-pockets out-of-network. But you got to throw in one more scenario. If the doctor, healthcare provider, or hospital is not willing to bill your PPO, that's not out-of-network. That's flat out, you don't have benefits. So how it would work with a Medicare Advantage plan is this. If the doctor's in-network on your PPO, you're going to pay the in-network charges. If the doctor's out-of-network but is willing to bill the insurance company, meaning accept its terms and conditions and pay scale, then you're going to pay the out-of-network charges. But if that doctor tells you, no, sorry, we don't accept that insurance, you have no coverage. You're going to need to go find another physician in that scenario. Another option, also known as a private fee-for-service plan, or PFFS, about as similar to original Medicare that you can get when it comes to the not having a network. Private fee-for-service plans, there's not a group of doctors that you must see. There's no in-network or out-of-network charges. Basically, Medicare refers to it as an any willing doctor plan. So if this doctor, no matter where you're at, or if this healthcare provider or hospital is willing to bill the insurance company or accept the plan's terms and conditions or pay scale, you have coverage. And so this one's a little bit more broad. You might have to do a little bit more legwork to make sure that your doctors and healthcare providers, hospitals around your area accept the plan. But if they do, it takes a little bit of worry away from you when it comes to, is this doctor in network or out? If they're willing to bill, you have it. Now, with these plans, you have a little bit more broad area that you can choose: doctors, hospitals, healthcare providers, so on. But note your out-of-pockets. Your out-of-pockets could be higher. And again, a lot to absorb. I wish I could be more specific but there are so many different plans to choose from. Again, it's all about the county that you live in. We understand the terms. We can help explain this information to you. You can also find the plans at Medicare.gov. What are all the plans in my area? And reach out to us. Let us help explain the ins and outs. We can point you in the right direction. We can help you go. But ultimately, with Medicare Advantage, if you go this route, because this is the other option if you don't want to stay with original Medicare. Just understand the rules, understand your risks, and if you're okay with them, they're a great option for most people. In closing though, insurance, no matter which route you go, is purchased to help protect against unforeseen risks, unforeseen out-of-pockets. But with that said, in the years that I've put into insurance, everybody has their own risk retention. When trying to find the right Medicare insurance coverage, meet your specific needs, know what your retention is, know how the plans work for you, and what you want the insurance to do for you to really evaluate which side of that chart or which option you should go with. Good questions that you could ask yourself are, okay, do I want freedom of choice on doctors, healthcare providers, or hospitals? Or I like the fact that I have specific providers and I got to use specific plans to see these. That will help kind of narrow you or point you in the right direction. You could also look at, I do not mind paying a higher monthly premium for lower out-of-pocket exposure. Or maybe you're on the other side of the table. Maybe it's, hey, don't like paying a lot for the insurance. My budget doesn't allow for it, so I need a lower monthly premium cost, but I'm willing to take a higher out-of-pocket exposure. Just understanding those two right there can actually get you leaned towards which side of the chart or which two main options you should actually look at when looking at your Medicare insurance. And guys, nothing's exact. A lot of things can change, but start with those two questions. Reach out to a licensed professional like myself, like our agency, or many other agencies throughout Texas. Talk to them. Spend some time on this because this is important. And note, you might not choose the right plan the first time, but you're not locked into it forever. Some plans have rules of how long you have to stay into them. Some plans don't. Some plans have underwriting that is a little bit more strict than others. But ultimately, using a professional can help get you started and help keep you on the right plan year after year. Plus, they can help with the sign-up process, which can be a little bit tedious in itself as well. But that's what we're here for. We'd love the chance to earn your business, and I do want to thank you for spending this time with me. I know it's, if you've watched this whole presentation, it's a lot of information. Probably not the most exciting presentation or time that you've spent, but hopefully it helped narrow down your options, helped explain the options for Medicare and its insurance to where you can get on a better path. Folks, if we can help you, we really would like the chance again to earn your business. Feel free to give us a call, toll free, 1-866-849-5465. You can visit us on the web. We have great information, www.texasmedicapselect.com. And feel free to always email us with any questions, concerns, or maybe needing more information, quotes, publications, anything we can send your way at info@texasmedicapselect.com. I appreciate your time with me today and hopefully helped explain a little bit more, and look forward to speaking with you soon.